When I say quality, I am referring specifically to making products successful and not just available in specific markets. And with that, a lot of our clients are faced with the challenge of, do you want it done fast or if you want it done right? The reason I'm so kind of acutely aware of this is because more than ever, we're being tasked with more complex and comprehensive projects, and as usual, in no time at all. And it's even worse on the client side. So they constantly battle internally between improving speed or improving quality. Given the choice, they often choose speed and that wins, but then your quality starts to suffer in the long run, up until the point that the customer then complains and then the battle begins again. In general, we all kind of understand that quality takes time, but how much time are you supposed to dedicate to this? Some of our teams, especially in localization, end up spending so long understanding the problem. By the time they come back with a solution, the priority's already shifted. So even if the research that you have is really extensive and groundbreaking, it is too slow. And in the meantime, your dev team have already released 6 new features and they're measuring the impact on the users. So whilst your dev teams are working even faster, yes, quality should still take time, but possibly much less time. One of the first big global clients that we worked with a few years ago came into localization from a development background. She basically told us that there's this battle between speed and quality, but it's already been solved in software dev. This is basically where Agile comes from, sprints that are focused on much smaller releases, faster iterations, and often failures, but those faster feedback loops from the end user. Not only do you get your product out faster, but you also get improvements out faster too. So in the long run, much higher quality and much sooner. The client that I'm speaking about specifically, she runs localization from a leadership perspective. Her main focus was to help her teams iterate fast in order to grow on a global scale. The switch to Agile was actually easier for her. The challenge was how she could help speed up the research element for those teams and help enable her teams. She knew that local user feedback was critical, but she didn't want the teams to wait for months for it. So that's where we had to help. So to me, this question of how can we localize faster has to be about how you get the voice of the customer. How do we scale that level of feedback, the number of participants, the level of quality, the qualitative insight without impacting the turnaround time of the project, potentially at all. So that's why at Global App Testing, we have amended the way that we work with our localization clients. As they become more agile, so do we. We're typically really quite closely aligned with agile developers. And so we've kind of built this method of we get a build straight away after a sprint and you need the results as soon as humanly possible. And now we're starting to see this more with our localization clients. So every prototype, no matter how many languages or countries or currencies, it's all got local feedback and insights in the kind of exact same turnaround time. So what this means is that my clients are seeing more localization tickets sit within sprint cycles, which might sound like quite a minor thing, but it's a new model that means that on a literally weekly basis, quality optimizations are made for local markets. It is gradual, but it's fast. So our localization clients are continuously and quite noticeably delivering quality as part of their department. And so in 2-week sprints or less, the kind of quality is already being seen around the business. So for this client that I've specifically spoken about, quality doesn't take time in the same way that we're used to. Quality is fast. So I would say that the way to win the battle between quality and speed is to not think of them as polarizing things, but one and the same, which is why, in my opinion, the only way to do it right is to do it fast.